My fellow Americans.
Well, I'm not a crook. I've earned everything I've got.
A man holds in his mortal hand the power to abolish all forms of human poverty and all forms of human life.
That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
One day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character.
He says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." I suppose we all thought that.
Hello and welcome to As the World Burns. Today we are going to be realigning our Chaka Khans, and everybody's going to have fun tonight because everybody's going to Wang Chung tonight. Today we're going to be talking about New Wave. We have El Magnifico here today to tell us what his favorite New Wave band is because he loves New Wave. It's his favorite thing of all time.
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite New Wave band of all time? Of the many New Wave bands that you know?
Duran Duran.
That was the perfect choice. All right. We're back. We're back. I love the Reflex. Such a great song, and Hungry Like the Wolf. I am hungry like the wolf.
I am too. I think they were on GTA Vice City too.
Yeah. All right. No, today actually we're going to be talking about a few other things. We're going to be talking about the 9 veils of reality. If anybody's familiar with that, it's apparently a super secret thing that conspiracy nuts are into, or myself included. Not that I'm a conspiracy nut.
I love it.
Just like the Reflex.
The Reflex. The one and only.
The Reflex. That's another good Duran Duran song. All right, so what are we going to talk about first? The 9 veils of reality, right? Get right into it.
Let's do it. Let's start with number 9.
Let's go backwards.
Yeah.
From 9 up.
All up to the first veil.
Yeah. It just gets really boring at that point, and we're just like, all right, we've already know the crazy shit. Let's just
The first veil is like, oh, potatoes are real. All right. That's cool.
All right. So, the 9 veils of reality. The 9 veils of reality is a metaphorical model for understanding the different layers of perception or awareness that separate the average person from higher truth or enlightenment. It is often attributed to anonymous or fringe thinkers online, not an ancient tradition or mainstream doctrine, and is especially popular in esoteric, conspiratorial, and spiritual circles. It suggests that humanity is born into a state of ignorance, and through personal awakening, one can lift each veil to access deeper knowledge about self, society, and the universe. All right. Yeah.
Is it 9 veils? Because it used to be 7 veils.
Was it 7 veils?
But maybe it's because of inflation. It's 9 veils.
Maybe because of inflation, it's 9 veils. That was good. All right. The first veil is basic survival. Awareness level, instinct. Description, most of humanity lives behind this veil. It's the level of pure survival. Eat, sleep, procreate, and obey. Kind of like in They Live. The focus is food, shelter, sex, and physical safety. The implication, individuals at this stage are unaware of politics, spirituality, or systems of control. They simply follow what they are told to do to survive. The modern analogy, mindlessly working a 9-to-5 job, consuming entertainment, and avoiding discomfort at all costs. The second veil is religion and tribal identity. The awareness level is group identity. The description, this veil introduces belief systems often handed down by family or culture, such as religion, nationalism, or traditional morality. The focus is loyalty to a faith, a nation, or a political party. The implication is truth is no longer defined by survival, but by what one is told by religious or cultural leaders. Questions are discouraged. People who argue for their side, left versus right, Christianity versus Islam, without questioning deeper systems. Yeah, so basic shit so far. What is it?
Which number was that? Is that all 9?
That was the second veil.
God damn.
Yeah, it's pretty much just like describing everyday life, like, human survival, like left versus right. We're pigeonholed when we're at birth, and we're
Yeah.
kind of, left to our own devices for the most part, but we're still pigeonholing ourselves even when we do, kind of make it out there on our own.
Yeah.
We're still
Yeah, we're still holding on to, because we grow old.
Yeah.
We kind of hold on to
Our
things
group think,
from,
our tribal mentality.
well, and yeah, the tribal mentality, that's like, that's the second veil, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But
Exactly.
the first veil is it's very selfish.
Well, yeah, it's basic survival. It's our id. It's our human instinct. It's just like, you're right. It's selfish. It's because like if we're stuck in the mud and we have to eat something and somebody else, won't eat something because we do, that's the veil 1. Veil 2 is the idea of like that other person is like your confidant, so you give them your piece of bread or whatever,
Yeah.
I guess that's veil 2.
It's a theory. Yeah, it's a theory.
Yeah, exactly.
I gotcha.
Yeah, let's go to veil 3.
Do it.
The third veil, politics and controlled opposition. This is where we get fun. The awareness level, socio-political engagement. Description, individuals see beyond religion and become politically aware, often choosing sides, liberal and conservative. So I guess this is more the political side of things.
Right.
The implication is while they think they are awakening, they're still trapped in a system of illusion. Most politics is controlled opposition or a distraction. Modern analogy, voting in elections thinking it makes a real change while deeper systems of power remain untouched. And then we're getting into kind of, the fourth veil, which is, this is where I've spent, I guess, most of my life thinking, is the economics and hidden masters, the financial systems awareness level. The description, this is the point where people begin to understand how central banks, fiat currency, and debt slavery actually function. Focus, the illusion of money, taxation, and economic manipulation. The implication is realizing that banks and elite families have controlled civilization, but I'm not a rapper, through monetary systems for centuries. Understanding how the Federal Reserve operates outside of true government oversight.
Damn, it's escalating quickly.
It is. The fifth veil, and it's funny because we're only at the fifth veil and there's 9 veils. The fifth veil is secret societies and shadow governments. Awareness level, structural control. Description, behind this veil lies the realization that nation states are not the highest powers. Unseen hands guide global affairs. The focus, Illuminati, Freemasons, Bilderberg Group, CIA, black budget projects. The implication is understanding how wars, economic crashes, and social movements are engineered, not accidental. Discovering how Project MKUltra, Operation Northwoods, or COINTELPRO were real. The sixth veil is extraterrestrials and non-human influence. The cosmic awareness level. The description here, people begin to encounter theories or truths about ETs, interdimensional beings, and ancient aliens. The focus is the Anunnaki, Greys, Reptilians, Stargates, and reverse-engineered alien tech. The implication is the universe is teeming with life and some of it has influenced or manipulated human civilization for thousands of years. The modern analogy, delving into Sumerian tablets, the Gilgamesh cloning theory, which we will be talking about later, and whistleblowers like Bob Lazar or Corey Good. The seventh veil is spiritual energy and consciousness. Awareness level is soul level perception. The description, this veil uncovers the true nature of consciousness as energy, duality, karma, reincarnation, vibration, and frequency become central ideas. The focus is energy healing, sacred geometry, in the Akashic records, and spiritual ascension. The implication, matter is energy, thoughts create reality, and the soul is eternal. You are not a human having a spiritual experience, but a spirit having a human experience. The modern analogy is experiencing or studying near-death experiences, astral projection, or DMT visions. So that's here we start getting into the real woo woo of it all, where you start getting into like cosmic energy and you know this is where I think we start to lose you a little bit, right? Or no? What is your view on all of this?
Oh, I think there's people out there that are attuned to the theories of all this,
Hmm.
but I think, I mean, it's a theory, so it's like it's through this guy's like,
Well, no, I know, but what I'm asking is, what do you believe on the spiritual level? Like, are you with the idea of the seventh veil? Like, do you think that there's like a cosmic awareness and that there's a spiritual level to the universe? Like, do you think that we are, in the words of what that said, not humans embodying a soul, but a soul embodying a human body or whatever? I forgot how it was put, but it was beautiful.
maybe tough to tell. I don't want to say
Yeah.
no because
You're open to interpretation.
I'm open to it.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say no to there being like a spiritual structure to the universe and everything.
There's some
I'm
sort of
I'm not.
connection.
Yeah.
There's some
Yeah.
sort of connection that we don't really understand,
Yeah.
and people interpret it that with religion, and some people interpret that with, um, you know, science. I guess chemical.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to think with everything that I've done with all this, I'm starting to think that there's a gray area in between science and religion or spirituality or mysticism or all that woo woo stuff. There's like a sliver of a gray area where you can kind of meet and find a lot of weird stuff. And that's the area that I'm truly interested in, really.
Yeah.
But I'm starting to find that the universe is really weird. Like,
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not saying that as in, like, yeah, like the universe is weird. No, the universe is really fucking weird. There's a lot of weird
Weird.
shit going on.
Well, it's because you control part of it.
Yeah, and you control what reaches your brain. I've realized
Mm.
that about every part of my life is that, like, up to this point, I've only ever taken in things that I've been interested in. Even though I'm a pretty open individual, I realize that, like, I do, like everyone else, I have like a barrier set up. But once you realize that you like kind of let that barrier go, even just a little bit, and you let like new knowledge flood in that you'd never want to learn or want to get into, you start to realize that there's so much more to the universe. And I'm not even saying that from like a spiritual point of view. I'm just saying
No,
like
no.
even everyday things, like learning how to play an instrument, or
Mhm.
learning how to build something, or learning
Yeah.
how to fix a car or something.
Yeah.
It's like there's so much amazement in
Yeah.
the universe,
Well, yeah. Exactly. It's
so
kind of
much
like,
discovery.
oh, for sure.
Yeah,
Well,
I
to
bought a
your point,
sewing machine.
yeah. That's the whole movie. Like, Yes Man. You ever see that?
Yeah, yeah, of course, exactly.
You
You just
know,
could say yes to everything,
you
and
say yes.
stuff starts
Yeah.
happening.
And things.
And
Yeah. The
yeah,
whole trajectory is different. You
the
know.
you know what's funny? That's like, have you ever heard of The Secret? Have you
I
ever
have
heard
heard of
of
this before.
it's the book, I think, right? Is that it's a
Yeah.
book, right? So
Yeah.
they say that the book The Secret is actually like there's a conspiracy that what it is it was somebody that was describing the basic idea of like magic to like
Hmm.
the everyday person, and that what it is it's like the most bare minimum and scientific way to describe magic. And what the idea of The Secret is it's mind over matter. It's mind manifestation. It's like you will these things to happen, or you make a chant to yourself like, oh, I'm gonna get a Lamborghini, and then one day I get a Lamborghini or something stupid like that. You know what I'm saying? That's the secret, is that
Mm.
you manifest these things by consistently trying to think about them. I mean, obviously you have to put in the work too.
Being positive about what you want
Exactly.
instead of being like, "Oh, I'll
Exactly.
never get that." Be like, "Oh, I'm
Exactly.
gonna get it." You know, I'm gonna.
And you know what is amazing is that's just every like occult like and witchcraft and like esoteric like occult practice has like a lot of that basic like like mind manifestation kind of thing. Like you will these things to happen. You like, you know how they like if you know the anti-host was like was with us right this moment, he probably would get into the idea of the jinn, which is like you know, people are familiar with like genies and stuff like that, and like genie in a bottle where you rub it and you make a wish. But like that's based on like I think the jinn spirits. And I think the idea of like wishing to a genie comes from like, you know, magic sources of like mind manifestation. You're wishing to a spirit. You're trying to, you know, to beg a spirit for something. It's like the idea of prayer, or like you know, praying to God, praying to
Yeah.
Satan, praying to a pagan god or pagan gods. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
put your faith in it. Yeah, exactly. And that's the whole
ex-
thing. It's like,
exactly, putting your
yeah,
faith in it.
yeah, it's true. I feel like
It
I'm
is.
too. I mean, because I'm personally too like stubborn and to a
But
fault.
But
Kind of
you know what?
sabotage
That's
myself.
your manifestation though, is because like, you know, we're saying you kind of bring the vibe to yourself that you want to, you know, put out in the world, I guess, is what this conversation kind of leads to. You know what I mean? We project our energy, whatever energy we take in, we project it out, but whatever energy we project out, we also take in. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
yeah, it's true. It's
And I'm
true.
saying you might like that, and that's more power to you. That's not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But you also have the power to control that, like we all do. And that's I guess I guess that's the moral of this story.
No, no, for sure. You're
Yeah,
absolutely right. That's the whole.
that's the
That's the whole.
secret.
That's yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of like thinking positively and just yeah. Any negative thought like adds up.
It
You know.
does.
Yeah. But yeah.
And
Wait, are
any
we in the
positive
seventh
thought
veil
does.
right now?
What is it?
We're in the
Yeah,
seventh veil right now, right?
yeah, we're only on the seventh veil. We just had like a major spiritual breakthrough, and we're only on the
Yeah, I
seventh
know.
veil.
We're just yeah, became like radicalized.
Yeah, this is your radicalization. Well, now we're on the eighth veil. You ready for enlightenment?
Yeah, let's go. It's like AI.
The the eighth veil, universal truth and interconnectedness. This is like what we were just saying, the idea of like universal consciousness and the
Right.
idea that everything is connected and one, and you know, yada yada.
Yeah.
Awareness level, enlightenment. The description: one begins to understand the divine code. Everything is connected. Separation is illusion. Time is nonlinear. The focus is unity consciousness, divine intelligence, source. The implication is good and evil become relative concepts. Everything has purpose. One moves from judgment to understanding. Suffering is often self chosen or karmically aligned. This is what I meant when I said that we're going to be realigning our Chaka Khans today.
Oh shit.
And everybody's going to have fun tonight, and everybody's going to Wang Chung tonight.
Everybody's gonna have fun tonight. That song like just popped in my head like subconsciously.
The modern analogy: moments of mystical ecstasy or ego death where one feels completely at one with all things, such as the song Wang Chung tonight.
Fuck yeah. We'll get Wang from tonight.
Fuck yeah. The ninth veil. Here we go. This is it. This is the last veil. The final this is the final layer before we give you a religious experience from listening to this YouTube video. You're at this part of your journey with us. If you've come to this point, you're on a spiritual awakening. Los Magnifico and I are helping you to get there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you.
Thank you. The ninth veil, the creator within, awareness level, godhood. The description: the final veil is the realization that you are the creator of your life, your universe, and your perception.
Yeah, dude. It's a scary thing to realize at 37. He's just like, fuck,
Ladies and gentlemen, he's having a breakthrough. We are breaking through.
broken through already. I'm just broken now.
I'm just broken now. You become a co-creator of reality, no longer bound by any illusions. There is no fear, no time, no identity, only awareness. The modern analogy, this state is rare, achieved by mystics, shamans, prophets, or advanced spiritual beings. Think Christ consciousness, Buddha under the Bodhi tree, and Gnostics achieving gnosis.
Yeah, that's Giga Chad right there, bro.
Yeah. I mean, it's just human bondage. It's just the various levels of breaking through our own fear and cognitive dissonance. You know?
Yeah, yeah, that would be sick to break through in.
It does give you a few ways that you can break through. Here's one that I've been doing a little bit myself. Inner work, such as shadow work or meditation. And another one I've been doing, studying forbidden or esoteric knowledge,
Mm.
detaching from dogma and institutional control. I guess I've been kind of doing that one too. Experiencing ego death, often through hardship, psychedelics, or mystical revelation. I don't do that one as much anymore.
Yeah,
Being truly yeah, right? Being truly curious and willing to sacrifice comfort for truth. I still try to do that.
that's a tough one.
It is, but you just got to find time to think, I guess, really, is what it comes down to. Because what, you know what the problem with the world is that you don't get enough time to really just sit down and think about it. And we just take things as they come. But if you really sit down and think about the world, you'll see things like this and you'll
Yeah,
start to break through.
no, it's true. It's kind of like what I'm experiencing right now, which I've been in like
Yeah.
a weird,
You're experiencing
weird
a
up and
religious a religious experience. We get it. We're pushing you there.
down. Yeah,
That's what
right.
this entire episode was
Well,
planned out by me and the anti-host in order to push a religious experience through you.
yeah. I mean, I wouldn't say it's a religious experience
Oh, we'll
per
get
se.
there. We'll
It's
get
quite
there.
quite anti-religion, quite sinning,
Oh,
but
don't you worry. We're gonna have you gripping the quartz stones and malachite in no time.
I committed a sin last night, fucking gluttonous. But let me tell you, I got a burger next door and it was delicious. So it was this little part.
Sins
So I got a
aren't
burger.
necessarily non-spiritual. We're not talking religious as in religious. We're talking spiritual. So
No, I
gluttony
know.
can just be
I'm kind
your
of just having fun.
spirituality.
No, I
You just
know.
love
No, I get
burgers.
it. Well, I ate Burger
You just
King
got a little food.
after.
There he
I ate a
is.
breakfast meal.
The anti-host is back and
Yo, what
better
up?
than ever.
Yesterday was a moment where I was like, oh fuck. Like you know, like I knew I didn't have to go to work today. So I'm like, fuck it. Let me just eat like a ton. So I ate two burgers. I eat one burger a day. I've always eaten one burger a day,
Yeah.
right? Like not every day.
Once per day, every day.
I'm saying if I have a burger,
That's a lot,
or
but yeah.
yeah, I'm just saying it's like it was like fuck. After that, I was just like, oh man, oh man, I gotta like think about some shit. So I did, and then today, I dude, I swear I was like, man, I gotta like chill out on it because I could do that again today. I
Wait,
could just eat
I
burgers all
I
day.
don't mean to interrupt. So you're
But
telling me you had a spiritual experience because of too many hamburgers,
yeah,
kind of like Robert Downey
revelation,
Jr.?
a revelation. Yeah,
Did you know that happened to Robert Downey Jr. too, right?
I'm sure. Yeah, like wait with burgers.
So true story for anybody that doesn't know this. This is the only other time I've ever heard of this happening because I thought this was amazing as a kid. Robert Downey Jr. was deep in the throes of heroin addiction and he was going to Burger King and Robert Downey Jr. grew up this rich son of a director, actor type guy and he got that the shit we were talking about earlier, the French shit.
Escargot.
Yeah, he got escargot. He got all this crazy shit growing up that was just like beyond him, where it was just like he shouldn't have had it, and he got what most other people don't get. And then one day he's deep in the throes of a heroin addiction, and he's eating this real sloppy fucking burger. I think either from McDonald's or Burger King, and he looks down at it and he realizes he's like, "Wow." I used to eat in 5-star hotels, and now I'm eating a burger from Burger King with a bunch of heroin I just bought from my dealer.
Life's great.
It is. Life is a fantastic thing. So he took that heroin I think that same day and threw
This
it off
is my
a bridge.
peak.
That's funny as fuck.
Yeah. So you had a Robert Downey Jr. moment.
I did have a Robert Downey Jr. the gluttonous.
Dude, you're just like Robert Downey Jr.
You are. You should be Iron Man.
I would love that. I love Iron Man 1. Iron Man 1 is one of the coolest.
I love Iron Man 1. Not even anything else. He's just like, I would love to be Iron Man. I love Iron Man 1.
Of course, like, he's great. Tropic Thunder, come on.
Yeah, of course. Dude, Tropic Thunder is A1 on this podcast. We love Tropic Thunder here.
Oh, for sure. But, yeah, pretty much that. And then today, I was like, I woke up. I'm like, oh, wow, I'm a slob, but it's fine. Drank some coffee that I had pre-made and just I folded my laundry. My bed is made. Yeah.
So you are on a good track.
Yeah, I was on a good track because I was in a bad track last night. That's you know what I mean? That was like, but I'm gonna get back to the bad track because I know my pattern. I'm just saying this was like,
This is what your hero Joe Rogan calls self-discipline.
Yeah. It's a micro revelation. It doesn't last, but it's
Dude, for some reason, his friend thinks I sound exactly like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, he was like, dude, you sound exactly like Joe Rogan.
I don't know about that, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. I don't know, guy. I don't know. The pyramids were kind of weird, man.
Is that kind of weird? Who knows?
Maybe the pyramids were actually ancient Egyptian instruments, man.
What's an instrument?
Man, an instrument. You know an instrument, man. It's the thing that I use.
My voice is an instrument. My fingers an instrument.
You know an instrument, man. You play guitar, man. You go vrum vrum vrum, man. And then you twiddle your thumbs, man.
Is that what I sound like?
No, that's Joe Rogan.
No, yeah, you don't sound like that. Yeah, you don't.
I don't
sound
know,
like
man.
Joe Rogan at all.
Bigfoot's real, man. I seen him, man.
Yeah, man.
He was at my wedding, man.
Man, how crazy would it be to pull Tim Dillon into this podcast?
Oh, that's my plan. If Tim Dillon ever hears this, I would love to have a 1-on-1 or a 3-on-1 or a 2-on-1 or anything on one with Tim Dillon.
Yeah, he would love that. He would like to be the one.
We will run a train on Tim Dillon with questions.
Yes.
Yes. Los Magnifico. We will run a train on Tim Dillon together.
Whoa.
Yes, we will.
Yes, of questions. I would love.
Say, yes, we will.
Yeah, man. I'd love to run a train on Tim Dillon, man. I'm Joe Rogan, man. I love Tim Dillon, man. I'd love to just hold him, man.
It sounds more like Elon.
No.
Well, also he would say everything that he just said, except he would say Joe Rogan instead of Tim Dillon. Let me try to do my best Elon. Yeah, so we're gonna. Shit, I'm doing too much of an American Elon. So we're gonna go and take care of some of these weirdos in this program they call I can't do the South African accent.
Yeah, so they said not to go in the library, but I went to the library and and, and they said, you can't take off your pants. You can't take off your pants right. So I took my pants off, and but nothing happened. Nothing happened. That's why we're gonna cut schools and turn them into rocket ships.
Dude, you have the mannerisms, the inflection of Elon down to a T. Even like people can't see this, people aren't going to be able to see this, but you even you have the literal mannerisms of Elon down, like the way he looks around and shit and like doesn't want to like approach the person he's talking to.
Oh, I relate to Elon's fucked up psyche sometimes. I'm like, damn, I am that autistic also when I talk
Dude,
to
it's
people.
it's scary. I
It is
felt it. It felt like it felt to me like when I was doing RFK Jr. It felt like the realness of like you could feel the hurt coming from the Elon. I loved it. That was good.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. That was awesome.
No,
All
for
right.
real. I think I'm in like that spectrum, just less rich,
That
horrible.
spectrum just less rich.
Yeah.
That was great. All right. Well, let me ask you, to get back to the 9 veils of reality real quick. Which veil do you think you're at after hearing that? I know it's probably tough to remember what each one exactly was, but remember, like economic and financial systems, that was number 4. 5
Is
is
this
like
like
secret
awareness,
societies.
or is this like awareness, or knowing how to, or mastering? Is
It's
this
like
like
awareness.
awareness? Oh fuck.
Yeah. So, like,
Probably ninth veil, if
you
anything.
think like you're aware of the interconnectedness of like
Oh
life and
yeah.
everything?
Yeah,
Yeah.
come on. Yeah.
Yeah, I
But
guess
I'm like, yeah,
do
for
you,
sure. I mean, if I'm aware of it, and I would, if somebody was like, no, that's actually true. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Like something that you would never fathom is out there. Like knowing that you don't know shit.
yeah. Well, it's just you're a speck on the ground
Yeah,
on a grain of sand.
yeah.
That's all
I
we
think
are.
I'm on the ninth. Yeah, for sure,
Yeah.
for sure.
But you
I
also, I
yeah,
guess, thinking about that, you're also thinking about the fact that that grain of sand is in a sea of sand. So you're also one with everything.
yeah, yeah. I think our energy is extremely connected. We're we can look at each other's eyes and just read so much information. We don't know how to say those words, but we feel it.
On the grain of sand analogy, if we're all grains of sand and you know what I mean, we're just one little piece of a bigger thing. You know what that bigger thing is? It's life. But do you know what the life is?
Son.
No, life's a beach. Life's a
Yeah,
beach and then you die.
we need to get those shirts. I'm down for that. I'm just saying. I think I'm in the ninth. Wait, what bill do you think you're at?
I mean, I think, all right, so if I'm being honest with you, I think I've been in like the 4th and 5th veil most of my life. And then recently I've kind of ascended the veils. And it's kind of weird, but if anybody's listening to this podcast, they can kind of probably hear my journey over the course of this podcast and how I've kind of like, especially over the past year, I've really taken in like a lot of like new paranormal and mystical things. And there was a UFO experience I had recently.
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I'm saying
No,
like the
no, no. Go
veil.
ahead.
So wait, when you choose what veil you're in, because if I'm in a veil, if I'm inside a veil, I
Well, I'm
can't.
definitely the ninth veil.
I'm on the first, if anything, because I'm just
Well,
eating and fucking. I'm just eating
okay,
and sleeping, you know. But
that's two different things though. There's
but
practicing and then there's awareness level, right? So
okay,
we're
yeah,
aware of the ninth level,
yeah,
but do we practice the ninth level? I think I practice like I think I'm aware of the ninth level, and I've been aware most of my life probably of the ninth level and been practicing the fourth and fifth. But I think
right,
recently I've gotten to the point where I've started like I said I've started meditating. I'm gonna try to start working on myself and working on like my inner self
yeah,
because I think that would be better for me. You know what I mean?
yeah. It's been trying to practice that one by doing push-ups and stuff.
Well, yeah, work it out's good, but like even like I think I've worked out before, and it's a good way to just
Oh
get
yeah, it's a great.
yourself like yeah, it's great for your body. I don't dissuade anybody from doing it. I think if anything, yes, work out. But
Oh,
I
for
I
sure.
think too like I've tried in the past meditating, and I never really like I would start to like get dizzy, and I would like get nauseous, and I would like start having a hard time with it.
Mm.
Recently I did it, and like it felt like a real release once I pushed past that feeling of like dizziness and nausea. And I looked it up.
Yeah,
That's like a thing too, like that you have to like push past that. You start to
yeah,
actually break through. So
yeah.
I meditated for like at least a good 40 minutes. Like
40
actually
minutes.
yeah, actually
Oh
like
wow,
put my mind into it and just like focused and
damn.
just focused on my breathing and listened to
Yeah,
binaural beats and shit. It was
yeah. I
it
haven't been
was
able to
interesting.
meditate that much.
It's good. It honestly feels so much better for like everything.
Damn. Yeah, I gotta really try.
Well, that's the thing though. Like we were talking about earlier, you have all these options in life. Not you, but like everybody. We all have like options in life, and like the way I look at it is that why not just like why not just try it? Why not just go for it?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah,
I need like ayahuasca to be honest to really take it
I
into
need
gear.
ayahuasca.
I need a shortcut.
Don't say that. You don't. You got this, man.
Nah, it's true.
Yeah, yeah, you got this.
All right, I'm gonna try to meditate.
We were just talking about like which veil we're on. Which veil do you think you're on?
Me?
Yeah.
What's the one below the money enslavement?
Well, all right. So you're aware of all nine veils, right?
Yeah.
So your awareness level is of the nine veils, like the creator within, godhood, and all that. You have the fourth veil, which is economics and hidden masters, which is the financial systems, and then the third veil is the socio-political veil. I'd say you're on the ninth veil though, because I think you are, you know, you're a pretty spiritual person.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. But anyways, all right. You guys want to move on to the next thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the next thing is called Project Gilgamesh. And what this was is the concept of Project Gilgamesh intertwines ancient mythology with modern scientific and speculative endeavors, particularly focusing on immortality, cloning, and resurrection of historical figures. Now, the Epic of Gilgamesh, for anyone that's unaware, is one of the oldest known literary works. It narrates the story of King Gilgamesh's quest for eternal life. The narrative inspired modern scientific pursuits aiming to overcome aging and death. Projects like the SENS Research Foundation focus on repairing cellular damage to combat aging, while others explore mind uploading and cryonics. So, what it is there's a conspiracy theory suggesting that the tomb of Gilgamesh was discovered in 2003 near the ancient city of Uruk in Iraq. According to this theory, shortly after the alleged discovery, U.S. military forces secured the site, and findings were concealed from the public. Some proponents of this theory claim that the body of Gilgamesh was remarkably well preserved, leading to speculations about cloning or resurrection attempts. So the idea is that maybe we found Gilgamesh in the in Iraq when we were invading Iraq, and potentially Gilgamesh. There's a theory that he is one of the Anunnaki, and that if we were to clone the Anunnaki, it's almost like a Prometheus thing. I know he's familiar with Prometheus, but Los, do you know Prometheus?
I've heard of it. I just don't know how to explain it.
So it's this movie, it's in the Alien franchise,
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah. Okay, we're talking about the movie. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Not the Greek god that brought fire to humans,
Okay, yeah.
but the movie. Yeah.
Yes, I've
But
seen that. Prometheus.
so
Pretty
like
awesome.
this is giving me like Prometheus vibes, where like there was a creator of humanity, and essentially what we decided to do was we decided to clone the creator of humanity that actually genetically engineered humanity. That's almost like what the vibe that I'm getting from this story a little bit. I'm thinking Ridley Scott probably ripped off this conspiracy.
Maybe.
What do you think,
Uh,
anti-host? Oh,
Yeah, that's I definitely think that's what he was going for. Yeah, they're essentially the Anunnaki.
yeah, pretty much. Like the engineers.
Yeah, the engineers.
yeah, I mean, it can't. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the like the first humans.
Wait,
Or
exactly. Yeah. Well, the hominids that supposedly were altered by the Anunnaki to create humans. So I want to ask both of you this. Have you guys ever heard of that new Sydney Sweeney movie? And this is actually incredibly on topic, so bear with me. But have you heard of this new Sydney Sweeney movie that she produced like a year ago? It didn't do too well, but it's called Immaculate.
No, I didn't see it.
I might have told the anti-host about this movie. If not, either way, I've wanted to talk about this movie for a while, and it actually perfectly actually like goes along with this whole theory and conspiracy. So supposedly in this conspiracy, the government's trying to clone like these ancient figures like Gilgamesh and the Anunnaki and shit, right? Well, in this movie Immaculate, Sydney Sweeney, oh, spoilers, I should say, also for anybody that gives a shit about this movie. Spoilers for Immaculate. She becomes a nun that's actually it's basically not even really like a nunnery, it's a cult. And what this cult does is they've supposedly had this blood of Jesus for hundreds of years. And what they do, or what they've tried to do for like the past like 100 years or whatever, is they've tried to clone Jesus by knocking up the nuns and artificially inseminating like the nuns that like come through the nunnery. And like it's like hinted at that like every single time they try to clone Jesus, it like comes out this like fucked up like monster, and then they have to like kill this monster and restart the cloning process.
Damn, I gotta
It's
see this
fucking
movie.
it's fucking crazy. It's called
Okay,
Immaculate. I've never even seen this movie, but I just know the plot of it, and that's the plot of it. It's fucking nuts.
that's
But the
crazy. I gotta see
idea,
this movie. But
yeah.
it says here the Anunnakis were the judges of the dead.
Well, no, the Anunnaki were the guys that came from a random planet to with the Greys. They had the Greys as these slave like people called the Gigi, and what they did was the Anunnaki came and genetically engineered either the people of Mesopotamia or like multiple groups across the world, and basically created like a group of like hominid slaves, which was us.
Oh, that sounds like Scientology.
No. This is our secret alien
No, I know, I
history.
know. I'm just saying that there were also yeah, no, you're right. And saying they were depicted in ancient tablets when they talk about the Anunnaki.
Yeah,
They're
they're the
depicted as
Sumerian tablets.
too of people who were so they were gods. They were the judges of
Yeah.
the dead.
There's also theories that the Egyptians were
Other
like the pharaohs were maybe the Anunnaki, and that potentially like some of the different gods were like different types of like alien beings that were worshipped for different like reasons. Like maybe the alligator one, I forgot what his name was, but maybe he was a reptilian. You
well,
know, there's like
yeah, and well,
there,
to your point, it's like the Anunnakis were always depicted as gods by the like Babylonians, Sumerians. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? They've
yeah,
always been in scripture.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm saying though too is that all of these gods across all the pantheons, they were all just aliens that just genetically engineered us. And the reason why the the humans were writing about like such wacky tales about these like seemingly like larger than life characters that were just up to really weird hijinks is because they were
Yeah.
just aliens that were getting into weird hijinks. And,
Well,
you know, we like to think of human as human, but potentially like these aliens were like kind of like more human like a few thousand years ago, you know what I mean? They were
yeah.
more like we are now, more like trolls, more like, you know, up to no good mischief makers.
Well, yeah, for sure. I think a lot of these scriptures were written um for storytelling and maybe uh cultural stories and how they tie them all in. So like I've always said that Jesus was like the first, not the
Jesus was
he
an
was the
alien.
first superhero. No, he was the
Jesus
first
was an
superhero.
alien.
Well, I'm saying he was written in a Bible that people were following, and he was like a superhero
The
in
Bible
the
was written
story.
by aliens.
I mean, we're aliens.
This is getting controversial.
That's what I'm trying to say. At the end of the day, we're all just aliens. We're genetically engineered by aliens in their image. So we're just aliens.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the conclusion as
Yeah,
to
well,
why
the
they were.
conclusion of this podcast, 100% up to this point, is that we have been genetically engineered by the Anunnaki, and that the let me just catch you up, actually, real quick. The gray aliens were actually these slaves that the Anunnaki conquered, and they basically left the grays around here to keep an eye on us. And the U.S. government in the 50s, under Eisenhower, basically made a deal with the aliens after the Nazis tried to like make a deal with the grays. The
Mhm.
US government got a bunch of like these Nazi scientists during Operation Paperclip and basically decided, you know, during this time with like Warner von Braun and all these guys at NASA to basically make a deal with the grays, these evil aliens. So like for the past like say 60, 70 years, we've had a deal with the grays where they can abduct like humans and like experiment on them and do all this weird shit. And then we get like access to all this like weird technology like time travel, ray guns, like the Helios laser,
The
and like,
iPhone,
you know, the
iPod.
iPhone, exactly. We talked about that in the other episode. I was just listening to that earlier today about how we were talking about like the lasers come from like, you know, the iPhone helped make like lasers and well, the aliens helped make lasers that make the iPhone and shit. So like, yeah,
Yeah,
we have all this like technology and shit, and all we had to do was just basically let the Greys abduct us and make a secret deal with them. And supposedly there's these other races like the Mantis aliens, which are like run a galactic federation that's like in outer space. And there's this group called the Nords, which are these like I guess blonde aliens or something like that. And then there's this theory that Adolf Hitler actually during World War II thought that he was making a deal with ancient Atlanteans, but he was actually making a deal with these Atlanteans that actually had a parasite called the Vril, that attached to them, and basically Adolf Hitler helped these like secret alien parasites that a lot of people associate with the reptilians come to power within like the world. But yeah. So that's
Yeah.
kind of where we're at.
Yeah, well, I'm stuck on the Anunnakis and the origin, because ancient scripture says that the Anunnakis created humans from clay. I'm with you. They're the goddess.
Yeah.
They're depicted in ancient scripture. I'm just saying. I'm going back. We're going back to why the
Well,
Anunnakis are in the
supposedly what
story.
yeah, so
But
what I've heard
let me just
what I
finish one point. The
well,
the Anunnakis created humans from clay. So clay becomes art, whatever. But
yeah.
like, how does
Well,
life come
that's
into?
all like, metaphorical
Mm.
mumbo jumbo though.
No. I'm just saying you gotta like look at the scripture sometimes to like see the hidden truth.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
I'm not
but what I'm
'cause-
saying though is that I'm looking at like what we've gathered from the scriptures and like the stories. So you've got like humanity, and then you've got the Anunnaki, and then you've got like this in between called the Gigi. In the scriptures, they call them the Gigi, but like we would call them the gray aliens.
the Greys, yeah, gray aliens. Uh, yeah, or the Roswell Greys. You know, I'm just saying like
But that's what I
life.
was saying is that the grays that crashed in Roswell, and then we made a deal with them
Mhm.
like after World War II. We made a deal with the Greys because they were like the in between to the Anunnaki and us, and the United States government needed their kind of technology. And it was kind of like a deal where we kind of had to do this deal, or else what was going to happen is they were going to start abducting people anyways. It was
Mhm.
more so like we would get something out of it if we let them do it.
Yeah, because the Greys were the Anunnaki slaves.
Yeah. I feel like I'm brainwashing you right now. You just keep repeating everything back in bullet points. It's like
No, I'm
it's
reading.
like
I have no. I have a thing open.
well, I was gonna say I can see the matrix code in your glasses right now,
Yeah,
just going up and
no,
down.
it's just literally Google just telling me the story of all what we're saying.
Yeah, no,
It's all connecting everything you're saying.
I've got Google up here.
I don't. I can't. I would
I
not be able
know.
to follow this.
Yeah. No, this is all scripture to me, but I'm looking at it from more of a scientific point of view and connecting like I'm connecting the US government and history and shit.
Well, what I was gonna say is my scientific point is life comes into Earth through outer space, through rocks, meteors,
Yeah.
materia,
That's why meteors look like
everything.
semen.
Yeah, yeah. Whatever. Like it just everything came here through rocks, and this bacteria just started becoming like together, and
Yeah, I
somehow
mean
we're
that's how
just
life formed here, but I'm talking about humanity. I'm talking about humanity.
yeah,
Humanity.
our intelligence, right? Stuff to
Yes,
comprehend.
exactly. Intelligent life.
And do we think we're intelligent because of what we have? Like an ant probably thinks it's super intelligent with what it
I
has.
I think the idea of self-awareness and death are the two things that separate like,
Yeah,
that create self-awareness. Or no, not death, but questions. Questions.
right. It's tough to
Because
tell if other animals don't question what they do.
well, no, there's almost no animals that do question. Like they've asked gorillas specifically, like they've taught gorillas how to actually like do sign language, and they'll answer questions, but they never ask questions. The closest thing that's ever been like to a question that a gorilla has ever asked was something along the lines of like orange want food,
Want
want
food,
orange,
yeah.
want food, food, want orange. It was basically like that. Basically, like I want that orange that you have. That was the closest thing.
That's
But
all they
that's more
wanted.
so, yeah, that's more so a demand. It's not a question.
It's tough to tell because pros can make decisions.
Yeah, but we're just a basic human intelligence, like a baby level intelligence is like, or a toddler level intelligence, I should say, because you could argue that like animals have like baby level intelligence, but like a toddler, a little kid, that's like questions. They question things, you know. I remember as a kid, I would say why a lot, and that's just what it, you know, what you do as a kid is you understand boundaries, and that's not
Mm.
understanding your own boundaries, but that's just understanding the boundaries of life. You're understanding the structure of life. You're understanding everything.
With there's safeguards, like it depends on how the parent grows up.
Yeah, but for
But
I'm saying like if you had like a feral baby out in the middle of the woods, I think they would still learn to like question and still like survive in a particular
ooh,
way.
I don't know about that.
I
No,
think I
they
think
wouldn't
so.
question anything that they do.
I
They're
think
not
so.
corrupted.
I think I think that there's innate human things that make us different that would make us in the wild different.
I I think it's just the fact that we grew up in a society.
I don't think that's just it. I think there's more to it than that. I think there's a blueprint inside of us, like a
Well, yeah, that's
genetic
true, the
code.
DNA.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think there's in our DNA not just tribalism, but the structure of farming, like all these different things. And like you know, we like to joke about how like if the world ended, that people would be kind of screwed. Like, you know, that people wouldn't be able to figure out like how to like farm or like do this or that. But I guarantee you that I'm not.
that's not true.
I'm
You're right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think that
No, yeah,
people would be able to figure it out. I think even if you took away a lot of resources from people, a lot of people just would pick it up and just naturally.
I totally agree with you on that. But I feel like if you have a feral baby that lives in the woods, let's say it grows up to be a feral 22-year-old,
Me.
it's just gonna live
Me.
its day. It's just gonna live its day without being corrupted by society and like the connection of humans. It's just gonna wake up, be like, I'm hungry, I'm gonna go hunt. I'm sleepy, I'm gonna go sleep where we were at. But no, it's all good. It's a heavy subject because we think about too much, and there's like so much more happens. Like what I'm saying is like we don't have enough time to think. Once you get the time to think, you start kind of realizing a lot of things about the world and yourself, and you start seeing things differently. But at the same time, we're in a society where we're constantly distracted by social media and TV and advertisements and whatever, and food and everything. So we can't think of like as a society, we would people will suffer if like they can't get food, like go down the street and get like a meal. If that all that stops tomorrow, it would take months, probably years of constant fighting with each other until people realize, hey, we gotta farm our food and like start restructuring some sort of like thing, and everybody has to pitch in and not be such an asshole. It's like I can't get my water. No, it's like you gotta go out and like provide for society,
Well,
you know.
exactly, exactly.
And like that's in our DNA because it's kind of like dogs. It's in their DNA
Be good boys.
To be good boys.
to be good boys. Yes.
Yeah,
So I don't
that's
know.
exactly.
So let's put it this way: how long would it take a dog to become feral without waiting for its owner to feed it? Probably not that long. They'll start eating the owner.
Well, yeah, that we were actually talking about that on one of the last few headlines episodes about how when animals eat like their owner after their owner dies, and then they have to put
Yeah.
like the animal down because it usually eats the owner, and then
Hmm.
It's like once a dog or a cat or whatever eats a person, it's like it can like develop like weird like quirks or like start like attacking people and shit. Kind of
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, it's true. Because they're like, they just
They develop a taste for human flesh.
yeah, and that's their choice. Yeah, and they choose to do
And
that.
that's their choice.
And that's their choice. Yeah. So he can't
You're
win
like,
over
you're totally on board. You're like, and you know what? That's their
dogs
choice.
and pro dogs.
That was great.
It's their choice to eat what they want. Well, so what happened? What happened with humans when we were so connected with those creators and aliens? What happened? Did the aliens die and we ate them?
Well, no. All right. So, did the aliens die and we ate them? That was great. I was not expecting that. Well, all right. Well, maybe that's what this Project Gilgamesh was leading
Thank
to
God.
is them like taking a little bit of Gilgamesh and making beef jerky out of it and eating them.
Yeah. Well, it's
But
like when they worship the cow in India.
yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you? But we eat the cow.
I mean, well, why wouldn't you? It's delicious. Why wouldn't you worship what you
Oh,
eat?
why? Yeah. Well,
See,
like
I'm
that's
thinking.
they say that's why like the god uh the cow's the closest thing to a god or representing God,
Are you talking about Bal?
and they're super friendly. Just put yourself in this real quick. Listen, you live in India. You're religious. You worship the cow. The cow has always been there as a representation of God. All of a sudden, there's a famine. Well, it's like what we were talking about, like how dogs and cats eat their owners. The owners is their God. So once the owner dies and they don't provide for food, they eat the God.
Oh shit!
So what I'm saying, dude, is like if
No, I
you
get
eat
it.
the cow, right? You ate God, and
Yeah.
then now what?
God is dead, and we ate him.
That's what I'm saying. We ate the God.
This is what Nietzsche was talking about. God is dead, and we ate him.
Yes,
I get it.
the,
I
this
finally get
this
it now.
flesh is my bread. The bread is my flesh. The wine is my blood. There's no turning back after eating that.
The burger bun is your flesh.
The forbidden fruit.
The burger is God. You
Yeah,
eat God every single day. Do you realize that?
we eat the forbidden fruit every
No,
single
I'm
day.
saying you do. You eat
Oh,
burgers every single day, so you eat God every day.
oh, not
You
every day. Every other day. I ate a lot of pizza. I've been doing a lot of pizza.
All right, so you eat God every other day.
Every other day, yes.
All right, well that's good to know.
Well, yeah. So I knew I ate too much God. I had to clean my room today. I had to clean my room today because I ate too much.
Not trying to get into lost in the weeds of Gilgamesh and Anunnaki and everything, but based on the lore of this show, of what you know now about how the Anunnaki were actually aliens and yada yada, and Gilgamesh was probably an alien, and that in 2003 we probably raided Gilgamesh's tomb, and we're trying to clone him. What's your opinion on the idea of
What's your read
clone?
on that?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. What's your opinion on cloning, like, like Jesus, cloning the Anunnaki, cloning like all these historical figures? Would you want to clone Jesus? Would you want to clone like all these random like ancient figures?
I would clone.
George Washington?
I clone Abe Lincoln.
I'd clone Abe Lincoln.
Yeah.
No, but
Yeah.
seriously, like, well,
I would definitely
like
try to clone. If I had Jesus DNA and I could, I would
that's
clone. I would clone the shit out of Jesus. Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like, do
Oh yeah.
you think that we're gonna like maybe go there? Like, we got the Shroud of Turin supposedly with Jesus wrapped around him,
We're about to get
and
dinosaurs, but yeah, we do have that.
but you know
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, if we
yeah,
have like DNA from Jesus, if we had like the original cross or like the spear of destiny or whatever, like
right.
you know, The
Yeah, whatever
original
happened
blood
to
of Jesus. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. I think we'll get there.
Yeah.
I think we'll get there, especially with the trajectory of like the religion coming up. Coming up in the ranks lately. Um,
What religion?
Christianity. There's a Christian
Christianity's coming
force.
up in the ranks
Dude,
since when?
There's a Christian force, the White House Christian force, dude. Did you not hear about this?
No, no,
It's
I didn't.
it's like
That just sounds like some hoopla or something.
no,
Christianity's
it's
not
like
coming up.
I'm not. This is a real thing
No,
that
I
Trump.
know. I'm saying that just sounds like some White House hoopla.
Well, yeah, but unfortunately, they're gonna try to clone Jesus. So they're gonna get to a
What?
point where like, yeah, we're doing science stuff. We're gonna clone Jesus.
What are you
And it's
talking
gonna be
about? When did they
horrific.
say that? Yeah.
Hey, you know that
No, you're
a
no, they're
lot of
not.
the human
They're not
trafficking
doing-
survivors, they talk about the weird people who control all of this. They want like the blood of his lineage. That's what they're after.
Dude,
I guess I'm
yeah,
good.
listen, this whole like, do you think they're gonna clone Jesus? I think at one point they're gonna claim they're gonna try to clone Jesus because the government right now that we live in right now is a
Yep.
religious freak. It's a religious machine, dude. It's
Yeah,
a
but
radicalized religious machine. It is. It really
yes,
is.
but I'm not trying I think we have to worry more about nuclear war right now because of the current administration than we do about the current administration trying to clone Jesus. And let me tell you something real
I'm not
quick.
saying
Let
I'm
me
worried
just say.
about it. I'm just saying that
No, no, no,
they
I know.
will happen. Not
I'm
worried.
just saying like it's not this current administration believes that we should clone Jesus. If you look at like
I
the
never said that.
CIA, but listen,
Yeah.
if you look at the CIA going back to the 1950s, they've got literally documents about how they've tried to research and find the Ark of the Covenant and all these like religious artifacts. And
Yeah.
they've tried to find like the tomb of Jesus and they've tried to find
Right.
like this and that. And they're not doing that because they're religious fanatics. You know what I'm saying? Like these CIA guys weren't all like religious fundamentalists.
No, they're not. But they use religion as a way to brainwash people into agreeing with the government. I'm just saying,
But
yeah,
yeah,
it's not
but then
genuine.
why would they hide all these religious artifacts? They wouldn't want to hide them if they acquired them. They'd
They
want
don't
to.
have them. It's what I'm saying is that they will claim to be cloning Jesus. I would clone Jesus if I had his DNA. I'm just
I
saying
don't.
they will claim it. They will claim and lie to people that they're cloning Jesus.
Maybe,
They
but
would do.
yeah, they would do that. But I feel like they would actually do that, but it wouldn't even be like it would just be the CIA. It wouldn't be like this current administration or anything. This current administration, you're right, would claim like, hey, we should clone Jesus or something because they want to play God and do whatever they want.
They
But
would try to do it for sure, but they would lie into saying that we are cloning. I don't know. I
yeah,
don't
I'm,
think
I'm
that.
still trying to figure out where you're going with it. But
They're gonna clone Uncle Sam.
they're gonna clone Uncle Sam. They can do that with AI now.
Yeah, the government has been hiding stuff from people. Obviously, we know that.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is that now the whole vibe of the White House, the people who control what this country is going to ultimately do, are religious nuts. They are religious.
Yeah, but that's only 4 years out of an entire time. What year? Like we were talking about the veil earlier. That's the left versus right thing. What you're talking about, and the political system thing. That's like the fifth veil or whatever it is. The idea is that there's a deeper layer of people that control everything that this administration's doing, and it doesn't matter what the current administration is doing, what the last administration was doing, what the one before Trump was doing, what the one before Obama was doing, they're all run by the same group of people. And you know what? Every person comes into office with one of two intentions: trying to make the world a better place or trying to further the deep state that they secretly work for. And I think Obama, say, wanted to come into the world and make it a better place, but then you have the deep state that basically says, nope, you're not going to do any of that, and pulls them back. There's people like that that get pulled back and don't get to do what they want to fully do.
But now, whoever's in office now is getting to do what he wants to do. So what does that
No,
tell you?
no, he doesn't. That's what you're not understanding is no, none of these people get to do what they want to do. They all have masters. They all have people that they
Hidden masters.
exactly. They all have hidden masters.
I know all that. I
Yeah,
totally know all
that's
that.
what we're saying though, is that the people that are running the show behind the scenes when Biden was in office are the same people that are still running the show behind the scenes while Trump is in office.
Yeah, come on, keep up, Magnifico.
Keep up, Magnifico.
I'm not saying Trump is controlling all this. I'm just saying whoever is in
He's
charge.
not. He's a fucking puppet. Is what it is.
I'm not disagreeing with you on that at all.
All presidents are.
Right.
That's how it is.
All I'm saying is if people are being controlled, like if the White House is being controlled by other people, they're telling the White House what to say and do and tell people while they work on something else and behind the scenes.
This is how I've gathered how it works. There's an internal structure to the deep state, and it keeps running smoothly because it has to run exactly how it's been running, because that's how it runs, because that's how it runs smoothly. And then whoever comes to office, they have an idea of little things that they want to do. It's almost like buying a car and then decorating the car with like a new paint job and decals and all these things. It's still gonna run the same as the car that you bought, but at the end of the day, it's gonna look slightly different because it's gonna be more of the vibe of you. You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
how America is. It doesn't matter who drives this car. It doesn't matter. It's still got the same engine. It's still got all the same accessories behind that hood that makes it run the same
An
way.
old engine.
What is it?
It's an older engine. It's a
Like,
less
yeah,
efficient engine now,
yeah.
America.
It's a model
It's the
from the
same engine, right?
1950s.
but it's not being maintenance correctly. Yeah, it's horrible.
Well, no, and that's
I think
the issue is it's being maintained the same way it has over and over and over again. Nobody wants to change any parts out, and nobody will change any parts out because it's almost like Christine. It's like this car that we're talking about is Christine at this point.
well,
It's impossible to change the parts. It'll fight back. It'll repair itself. You can't fight the CIA. You can't fight the CIA. Look at what happened to JFK. Look at what happened to RFK. Look at what happened to MLK. Look at what happened to Malcolm X.
All the initials.
All of them.
there's always going to be resistance.
There's always going to be resistance, but then look what happens.
It's not a huge grand scheme. It's like, yeah, it's literally just the government killing these people. It's not like anything. It's whoever's in control of the government.
No, it's not though,
Killing these
because
people.
like I just said, look what happened to JFK. JFK was in control of the government, and look what happened to him.
Well, yeah, he was killed by the government. The deep
Yeah.
state.
The
So,
deep
yeah.
state is who's really in charge. Trump's not the deep state.
That's what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Yeah. None of these
But they-
guys that run the country are a part of the deep state.
I think they're actually the bigger part of the deep state.
They're really not. No, they're 100% not.
They're getting their way, dude. They're getting their way. They're getting. I think it's.
Shit.
I think it's Italy.
Italy. Oh man.
Italy.
Yeah.
Poor Italy. What did they ever do other than get into fascism for a moment?
Well, they redeemed themselves by fucking
Bye.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the answer.
Hanging Mussolini naked, and cutting his dick off.
Oh yeah, they really fucked him up.
Yeah,
Yeah, they
dude.
did.
That's a show of like, yo, we are not down with this guy, and they just fucked
Yeah.
him up. So they redeemed themselves, yeah. But it's gonna be a point, brother. There's gonna be a point with this administration that talking shit about religion is gonna be just as big of a no-no as
No,
I
it's
guarantee
not.
that.
It's
Yes,
not.
it is. Yes, it
It's
is.
not. They don't give a shit about religion in this
All right.
administration. They use it as a
Amen.
means of control.
Amen.
Isn't it part of Project 2020, 2030 or some whatever the fuck it was called?
No, I don't know. Agenda 2030. Project 2025 is the one that Trump used.
Yeah, isn't like religion part of that?
It's in there.
He
Yeah, it's in there.
uses religion as a means of control. He gives no fucks about God.
No, dude. We're not saying that he gives a fuck about God. We're saying that he's
Yeah.
using religion to control.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes,
That's what I just said.
that's exactly what I am saying too, guy. I'm literally that's exactly what I'm saying. Hear me
He's
out.
saying they're going to use religion to control,
Don't
and to the point where,
listen,
like, if
please, not
you
interrupt
talk
what I'm
shit
saying at all.
about the state's religion, then
Listen,
then you're
yeah, it's
fucked.
true, and that's what 20. So check this out. Listen to this by Google. AI overview in Google. President Trump signed an executive order establishing a task force to eradicate anti-Christian bias and religious liberty commission to address what he sees as the need to protect religious freedom. The task force is designed to review government activities, identify and eliminate anti-Christian policies, and recommend further action to rectify past wrongs and protect religious liberties. The Religious Liberty Commission will focus on promoting religious liberty, celebrating religious pluralism. He is setting the stage for you to not talk shit about religion and Jesus and call him a lying superhero.
I mean, I don't want to talk shit about Jesus. Jesus was an alien. I'm cool with Jesus.
Yeah, even that will get you in hot water. That will
No,
get
it
you,
won't. Because that's
dude.
my interpretation of Jesus.
Doesn't matter. That's anti-religion establishment.
It's not.
It is.
Aliens or demons?
According
They're
to
not.
this, according to the executive order that President Trump, the current president, did,
Let's
that
ask
is
ChatGPT if my view would
is
be considered illegal in this new.
if your view would be against the task
Yeah.
force, the Religious Liberty Commission. You got to put those words in.
According to the new Religious Liberty Commission.
So you saying Jesus is an alien is gonna get your video flagged and shadow banned. That's what it is.
According to the new Religious Liberty Commission.
No, just say is calling Jesus an alien against the Religious Liberty Commission. You know, just ask it that.
An extraterrestrial, which is my own personal religious belief against.
By the way, AI is not 100% correct, and that's the problem with people using AI. But
wait, according to new Religious Liberty Commission, is calling Jesus an extraterrestrial, which is my own personal religious belief against
the law.
The law. No, holding the belief that Jesus is an extraterrestrial is not against the law in the United States. The First Amendment to the U.S. Constitution.
But that didn't really answer the question.
Yes, you're right. In the landmark case.
Give me 1 second, man. You got to read between the lines here without AI real quick. Because what I'm saying is the president signed an executive order to establish a task force to eradicate Christian bias.
No holding or expressing belief, constitutional protections. In February 2025, President Trump announced the formation of a task force led by General Pam Bondi to combat anti-Christian bias within federal agencies. The task force aims to address discrimination and targeting of Christians, including within federal agencies like the Department of Justice, IRS, and the FBI. Additionally, in May 2025, Trump established a Religious Liberty Commission tasked with reporting threats to religious liberty and celebrating America's religious pluralism. But do you know what religious pluralism is?
What is it?
The idea that America has multiple religions.
Hmm.
That's what pluralism is. It's multiple.
Multiple religions, yeah.
Yeah. While these initiatives focus on protecting Christian religious expressions, they do not criminalize alternative religious beliefs or expressions. The U.S. legal system continues to uphold the rights of individuals to hold and express diverse religious views. While your belief is legally protected, it's important to be aware that expressing unconventional religious views may lead to societal challenges. Such as misunderstandings or criticisms from others. However, these social dynamics do not equate to legal prohibitions.
Yeah.
See, yeah, we're good. I can call Jesus an alien.
Can you call him?
That's a good
Yeah.
question. That's actually a better question.
Yeah.
Can you?
Hey, let's not make it a competition here.
Can you call Jesus? Is that cool? Is that
That
cool
would-
instead?
Is it cool to call Jesus?
In the United States, so yes, it is legal. You cannot be arrested, fined, or legally
However,
punished by
it's
the
not
government.
cool.
Is that what it says?
And it would lead to
I don't
societal
know.
challenges.
It does. Yes, it's allowed, but no, it's not cool to everyone. That's hilarious. What would happen if somebody called Jesus a derogatory term? If someone publicly calls Jesus a derogatory term, that depends entirely on context, location, and audience. Legally, it's protected speech in the US, Canada, and much of Europe.
Hell yeah. Protected speech, maybe.
All right.
For now,
For now.
All right. Well, what else should I look up?
look up the similarities between Jesus and Hitler.
Oh yeah. Nice. The pros and cons.
Are there what are the similarities between Jesus and Hitler? Jesus Christ. That's a
Yep, that
heavy
one.
question.
Yeah, that Jesus.
And one that absolutely demands careful handling. On the surface, Jesus, a spiritual teacher and messianic figure, and Hitler, a genocidal dictator responsible for the deaths of millions, are diametrically opposed. However, if you're asking this from a literary, symbolic, or philosophical perspective, this is not a moral comparison. Jesus is revered for teachings of love and sacrifice. Hitler is reviled for his
Wait,
pride.
stop it right there and go, no, I mean morally.
No, I mean morally.
I mean, like, what makes them both such powerful religious leaders?
Man, the amount of trees are being cut down for these questions right now is insane.
The amount of lakes that have dried up.
Yeah, this dried up. Just
religious
gallons
leaders.
of water right now. Cool off this motherboard.
Ah, got it. You're saying your co-host, probably the anti-host, knowing the type, wants to draw a moral comparison between Jesus and Hitler.
Whoa!
as
Added
religious-
anti-host wants to know for sure.
Or
You
or
definitely
near
put my name in
religious
there.
leaders. I said the co-host. I actually said the
Yep.
co-host, the
Yep.
current co-host, and he goes probably the anti-host. That's hilarious. Or near religious leaders, not because they share ethics, but because they both inspired fervent, almost cult-like devotion. That's a valid and intense question. Philosophically dangerous but powerful.
Oh damn.
That's me.
So
That
here's
sounds
the-
like me.
That's
That
funny.
sounds like me. That's hilarious. So here's a grounded
hilarious.
breakdown of the morality, myth, and messiah complexes. Let's see. Jesus claimed to be son of God. Hitler claimed to be Germany's only
Claimed.
savior.
Claimed.
Moral absolutism. Love your neighbor. Destroy the enemy. Preserve purity. Turn the
Destroy
other cheek.
the enemy.
That's Hitler. Also seen as absolute truth by followers. Sacred mission. Redemption of humanity. And then Hitler, purification, revival of the German state. Ritual and symbolism, baptism, communion, crucifixion, imagery. Nazi salutes, swastikas. All right, we all know this shit. The moral twist. Jesus preached love, forgiveness. Hitler preached hate, domination, and hierarchy. Jesus died for others. Hitler sent others to die for his vision. Jesus challenged power without violence, seized power through mass violence. Hitler. Jesus forgave his enemies. Hitler demonized and annihilated his enemies. So while the follower psychology may overlap, the moral compass is inverted. All right. What's another question that you want to ask it? Anti-host.
Who are the most likely possible time travelers that exist today?
That's a proper anti-host question. Chaotic, conspiratorial, and weirdly hopeful. Let's dive into the burning strangest of the most likely world time travelers who may exist today. John Teeter, the OG time traveler. Military time traveler from year 2036 sent back to 2000 to collect an IBM 5100 computer, debug the future legacy code. I wanted to do a whole episode on this guy. Why it's convincing, predicted civil unrest in America, nuclear tension with Russia, and tech breakdowns eerily close to what we've seen since 2015, and claimed multiple timelines exist, meaning his future isn't exactly ours. John Teeter wasn't alone. He was part of a fleet of timeline. Oh, this was anti-host theory. The Charlie Chaplin time phone woman. Video evidence. In the DVD extras for Chaplin's 1928 film premiere, a woman walks by holding something to her ear and talking into it. Speculation time traveler using a communication device, possibly sending reports on early 20th century society. Rational theory could have been an old-fashioned hearing aid, but did she smile at the camera like she knew? Andrew Basiago. We actually talked about this guy on the podcast. Lawyer and whistleblower claimed from Project Pegasus, alleged DARPA time travel program, says he met George Washington and time traveled with Barack Obama and even jumped to Mars via teleportation tech. Ran for U.S. president in 2016 on a disclosure platform, extremely detailed and committed. Elon Musk, why people believe it, talks like he's seen the simulation source code, has predicted things years in advance, AI dangers, Mars colonies, and Neuralink, an obsession with time dilation, simulation theory, and quantum computing. And the Rudolph Fentz case, I've never heard of this. A man in the 19th century was allegedly hit by a car in the 1950s New York. Items in his pocket were perfectly preserved from the 1870s. No record of him aging, disappearing, or living past that date. Likely fiction, but the case was cited in early time travel investigation and inspired endless rabbit holes. The TikTok time travelers. Accounts like aesthetic.time.warp or at time traveler 2582 predict specific events, post future photos, and claim upcoming catastrophes. Most are hoaxes or ARGs, but some have gotten bizarrely close to real world events, like mentioning COVID-type lockdowns in 2019. The Chronovisor. The Vatican Chronovisor Insiders. The Chronovisor is a device supposedly hidden in the Vatican that allows people to view past and future events. Invented by Father Pellegrino Ernetti with Nazi tech plus church funding. The theory is certain clergy members or global elites are time observing and maybe even editing timelines via occult tech. And number 8, YouTubers and Reddit users with glitches. Some individuals have claimed to wake up in alternate versions of their homes, cities, or worlds. The Mandela effect times 100. Others say they were in accidents and woke up in a world that's off. Different news headlines, different laws, different people missing. Are they timeline jumpers or parallel world refugees? And bonus, people suspected by anti-host logic. David Bowie, Nick Cage, and Keanu Reeves.
You know what you should do? I have an idea. Ask it if it knows about the book Liber Null.
Liber Null and Psychonaut is a foundational chaos magical text written by Peter J. Carroll. Originally published in 1978, it's one of the most influential works in modern occultism, particularly for those drawn to chaos magic, sigils, and experimental magical systems that abandon traditional religious structure.
Now tell it to summarize the entire book to you so that you can read it in a few minutes.
Can you summarize? Absolutely. Here's a full summary of Liber Null and Psychonaut by Peter J. Carroll, boiled down to its core ideas and practices so you can absorb the book in minutes while still retaining its power. Part 1. The core premise. Magic is the art of causing change through focused intent and altered states. Belief is a tool, not a truth. I was telling this to Magnifico earlier about how I was talking about The Secret and explaining about how The Secret is essentially just like the bare bones of like magic distilled down to like a, a really basic like teaching. Initiation. Train body, mind, concentrate, meditation, motionlessness. The goal is to detach from societal conditioning and train your will. Techniques include breath control, banishing rituals, energy awareness, mind control, and thought discipline. Eliminate internal noise to isolate pure intent. Practice no thought mantra and inhibitory meditation. Focus must become a laser, the will unbroken. All belief systems are symbolic tools. Use, discard, or combine systems. Don't get stuck in one. Belief is a mask, not a master. 4. Gnosis, the altered state of consciousness needed to cast magic. Inhibitory gnosis, silence, darkness, trance, stillness. Excitatory gnosis, sex, dance, drugs, fear, and pain. Gnosis is how you bypass the rational mind to implant intention. Write your desire. Remove repeated letters, combine into a symbol. Charge it in gnosis, then forget the desire completely. The subconscious takes it and manifests it. The servitors and magical entities. You can create your own spirits or thought forms, servitors. Program them with intention, feed them energy, use them for tasks. Advanced users can make egregores or group spirits. Number 7, the magical will. Ultimate goal, unite all actions under a singular intent. A magician is someone whose will moves directly into reality. Magic isn't about rituals, it's about focused transformation. Part 2, the Psychonaut, the book of the magical self. Kia and chaos. Kia, your core spirit/self beyond identity. The universal force of raw potential and infinite possibility is chaos. Magic is the act of Kia shaping chaos. Number 2, the magical worldview. The magician builds a personal cosmology. The world can be programmed through symbolic action, gods, demons, and archetypes, tools of transformations, not literal beings. Number 3, techniques and tools. Astral projection, dream control, path working, guided vision journeys. That's what path working is. Banishing, invocation, and evocation, calling forces into or outside the self. And create rituals from scratch, customized to your belief set. I'm going to roll this real quick.
Pretty interesting, right?
Yeah, it's pretty much a crash course into
Chaos magic.
yeah, exactly. Good for like guided meditation and shit though too. Oh, or unguided, I should say. Initiatory madness. At a certain point, the magician must confront ego death, chaos, and the void. Some may experience extreme psychic events or emotional instability. It's part of the process. Disintegration leads to reintegration. Figure it out.